Hello, I'm Reverend Mark William Ennis. This is the third of 7 readings I will be doing from my new book, Out of the Wilderness. Well, not getting that right. Honoring his abusive Christian father and mother. It is published by Christian Faith Publishing. This book is based on a gentleman I counseled with for a number of years when I lived in a different state. He gave me permission to publish this book after his parents were deceased. He didn't want any grief to come to the innocent or the guilty because of this book. Today is a difficult topic. This is a disclaimer warning for you folks. It's about abuse and the effects it has on people. If you have been abused and are suffering the effects, you've not healed, please think about whether you want to see and hear this video. This is the character Will when he is a little boy and some abuse that he suffered. It's not easy to hear about. The setup for this scene is Will has been helping his mother set up for a July 4th party at the house. Now, across the street are two brothers who are a little wild, and they're done their chores and they want to pull some pranks. Will happens to walk right into it. He is then blamed for it, treated badly by his father, and he thinks of doing things that are pretty horrible. Abuse causes more troubles. Abuse causes anger. Anger can lead to hatred. Those are bad things. Here we are. The two boys across the street finished their chores, which included watering their garden, when an idea came to them. Why not fill up buckets with water and wait to ambush any kid who walked by? Their hedges were high enough to conceal the boys as they filled their buckets and waited to spring their trap. They had waited almost half an hour without seeing anyone. They wondered if anyone would ever come. They had almost given up on their Independence Day weekend prank when they saw Will emerge from his house and walk toward the store. Their time had not been wasted. "There goes Mason," Marty whispered. "Looks like he's going to the store. Wait until he's on his way home." The two watched as Will entered the corner store before they took their buckets across the street, hid behind two parked cars. They didn't have to wait long. Buying a loaf of bread and walking half a block took no time at all. Soon he was walking up the street. The boys waited at opposite ends of the parked car. Marty jumped out in front of Will as Peter took the rear. Will saw Marty. "Don't!" he shouted. In an instant, the two full buckets of water crashed onto him. The two boys exploded in laughter. "Thanks," Will yelled. "Do you know what my father is going to do to me? Do you know?" The boys ran back across the street. They didn't believe what Will said about their father. No one did. He had told a few people in his life what went on in his house. All the people that he trusted. These trustworthy people told him to stop making things up. If grown-ups wouldn't believe him, why should the wild boys across the street? Will knew that he had to do his best to sneak back into the house. Every day of his life, his welfare depended on stealth. He guessed that his father would still be on the ladder, feebly trying to install his light. Will crept into the alley, into his backyard, up the back steps, through the porch, and into the kitchen. Only then did he see his father sipping tea and smoking one of his Salem 100s. Will knew that he had picked the wrong entrance. What the hell have you been doing, having a water fight with your friends when your mother and I are working to get ready for tomorrow? His mother turned toward Calvin to explain, but a look from him silenced her. Get changed. I've got work for you to do. I'll work you until you drop. I didn't have a water fight, Will defended himself. I was ambushed. Why didn't you yell at the Kowalski boys? Or am I your only target? He knew he had made a mistake. His father, all too familiar, rage took over. The beast put his cigarette and tea down, marched across the room. Soon his hand was around Will's neck. He pushed the boy across his bedroom and against the wall. You don't ever talk to your father like that. I am head of the household. You show me ultimate respect. You're gonna get that through your head. As his right hand choked the boy, his left grabbed his son's hair. He began to bang his head against the wall. You want to answer me like that? How about I make a cripple out of you? You want to be in a wheelchair? I'll do it if you don't get what I tell you through that dumb head of yours. Will choked and felt the percussion of his head. He prayed that God would kill his father right then, or at least an angel would arrive to assist. No such help came. Instead, he listened to the screaming, felt the pain, and wondered if he would die that day. You're going to obey me and respect me, or I'll make a cripple out of you. Do you understand? He tried to nod, but with one hand on his neck and another on his hair, he could not. Hal, his mother said, you're going to injure him. I know. Maybe then he'll pay attention to what I say. Please, Calvin, my mother will hear. He stopped at the sound that someone might witness his abuse. Finally, his hands lowered. Get changed. Get out of here. I have work for you to do. Will felt relief as the monster's hands went down. He felt nauseous and dizzy. The boy collapsed to his knees and vomited. Calvin, he probably has a concussion. We need to get him to an ER. He doesn't need a hospital. He needs to learn how to work. Calvin left the room and returned to his cigarette and tea. Rose stood over her son, looking at his eyes. Her nurse's training took over. She feared that her son had a concussion. She wished that Calvin would let her take him to a hospital. But he would never allow that. He was too afraid to let his dark secret out. Rose took advantage of Calvin's absence and moved into the room to care for her son. Soon, William was in dry clothes and lying on his bed with a nausea bowl next to him. Don't go to sleep, his mother kept telling him. But he was so dizzy and tired he could barely keep his eyes open. As his eyes closed, she badgered him again. You can't go to sleep. You may have a concussion. Why don't you divorce him? William, don't say such a thing. We are Christians and Jesus condemns divorce. Before he could respond, she left the room. The boy lay there feeling dizzy and seeing double. God, he prayed, please kill him. Or at least give me the strength and courage to kill him myself. Despite his mother's warnings, he dozed off and dreamed of taking a long bone-handled carving knife in the kitchen, his mother's favorite, and stabbing his father with it. In his dream, he felt pleased when he saw his father's blood gushing out. That's a heavy way to end this book reading this evening. But you see the effects of abuse. A good-hearted little boy, Will, was dreaming of murder. He was praying for his father's death. Whenever we abuse someone, we hurt their soul, we hurt their spirit. If you have issues with rage, please get some help. If you have been abused and need help healing, please get help healing. Abusers and abused both need healing. If you would like to get help and don't know where to turn, please contact me through any of my social medias. I know a therapist in our area, and she or one of her staff can help you. Again, this is reading 3 from my newest book, Out of the Wilderness, honoring his abusive Christian father and mother. I'm Reverend Mark William Ennis. I thank you for watching and listening to this video. And please, if you've been abused or an abuser, get some help. I will help you get help. I want everyone to heal and know the joy of peace of Jesus Christ. God bless you all.